Question F. What experience does your agency or staff have that makes your agency qualified to implement evidence-based programming with youth in out-of-home care or youth justice settings? Describe your agency's experience providing programs that utilize a positive youth development framework.
Hi, I would like to go ahead and respond to that question. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Frazier Support Services. Our mission is as iron sharpens iron, which indicates that we are a program that develops on coaching and mentoring. So that alone makes our agency qualified to implement your evidence-based program for youth who are out of the home setting care. Just to give you a little description of our agency experience, Frazier Support Services has 3 programs. One is a group home, and we have a mentoring program, and lastly we have a program to support families. I'll start off discussing a little bit about our group home. Our group home is located in Racine, Wisconsin. It's called Peace of Mind Group Home. We currently service about 90% of our youth comes from the juvenile justice system. Our populations is boys between the ages of 13 and 17 years old. At any time, I can pick up a kid from detention center, I can pick up a kid from Lincoln Hills, and sometimes I have picked up kids from adult facilities such as county jails. So Peace of Mind is a nurturing, home-like environment where youth receive trauma-informed care and wraparound service that supports and focuses their individual needs. Peace of Mind Group Home takes a holistic approach to caring for youth who come from us from the juvenile justice system. We address their physical, their emotional, academic, and wellness needs. Youth experience a family-like environment. We have meals with them. We do the family-style meals. We do community outings, and we do the academic support with them as well. And we prepare them for jobs. Some of our programming at the group home are character development classes and AODA classes as well. But I really want to emphasize that we also provide life support classes. And that ties more into the reason for this grant, because we deal with boys who come in sexually. And so those life skill classes actually address some of those needs. Now, for our next program, it's called Season Generation. Season Generation is a program only for kids who are in our group home. Yes, we have had counties say, hey, how can I sign my kid up? Even though they're not in the group home, we won't take them. This is particularly for the boys in the group home, to provide them more support from a mentor that's in our community. They are assigned to male mentors that are similar to their background. And in those mentors, the whole point to them is to assist them with community resources, to also assist them with some more academic support, but mostly for that adulthood transition. What does that look like for them, and having someone to talk to them around transitioning into adulthood. And lastly, our last program is more around family development. We have a program called Family to Family. It is a comprehensive family development curriculum that focuses on the strength around parenting, youth development, and the family structure. It is a 12-week curriculum where we explore the roles of families, the roles of the parents, the definition, how they define what family is. We also explore how to use tools and techniques and laying the foundation for all family members. Each family is assigned to a mentoring family, and the families that we signed for as far as the mentoring, these families mirror each other, such as they have, children. Our mentor families have children the same age as our mentee families, and they're also culture demographics are pretty much the same. The families meet for 12 weeks. The first 6 weeks is activities and discussions around family communication, family conflicts, family problems, family boundaries, family roles. And then the last 6 weeks is family counseling. That's when we dig a little deeper into some of the content that they already have with their mentoring families that would transition over and with a LCSW social worker with that family. So when you ask the question about our agency and what evidence-based programming that we have in working with children out of the home, those are the 3 programs that we have that specifically work with children out of the home or being at risk of being removed from the home. Our family only serves juvenile justice kids and families. So some of the kids are right on the edge of being removed and some have been removed, and we go in and we provide this 12-week program. And again, Season Generations is all for the kids that are in the group home. About our agency or about our staffing, I'm Dr. Frazier. I have a doctorate degree in clinical social work. I have 34 years experience working in the social work field, specifically in the child welfare arena. I also have education background. I have a master's in education. I have ran a school and understand curriculum development, how to assess curriculum as well. And I have about 12 staff. I would say 90% of my staff have degrees in the areas of human service, in the area of criminal justice and psychology. So our framework and our positive development centers around all 3 of these programs. In the group home, it is family-like. That is our model. Season Generation is the model of coaching, and the same with our family-to-family. And all these things are positive experiences that families and youth from the juvenile justice system experience in our program.
Question G. Please describe the settings, for example, residential care facilities, juvenile justice facilities, etc., where you plan to implement programming and how you will establish or maintain partnerships within these settings. Please also describe the number of youth served in each setting.
Although we will be partnering with Racine County with their youth justice program, we will also be partnering with a couple other shelters that serve this population, Racine County Jail as well. We will also be partnering with Gateway Technical College, Legacy Fitness, the LBGQ Center of Southeastern Wisconsin that's located here in Racine. We will be partnering with them. And our goal is, although we have these partnerships, we really want to be able to utilize their space when we're implementing our educational classes around sexual education or any of the wellness classes. We would like to utilize these spaces because we want to connect youth, young adults to programs and resources in the community. That's really important. And then we also want to be able to separate out what they might identify negative part of their past of looking at one of the facilities that they may have served some time at. So we really want to utilize some of the resources and the spaces that who all agree to partner with us on this to give them a different outlook and to expose them to other resources. So, but that doesn't mean that we will not be working with the detention centers. We do understand that some of our youth and some of our young adults are within the detention center. As you probably know, Racine does have a juvenile correction. We have a juvenile prison in the city of Racine, and we know that we will not be able to bring them out into some of these locations. So we will actually go right into those settings and provide our programming to them in those settings. And we will maintain those partnerships as we do now. As Frazier Support Services, even though through the group home, we have a lot of partners. We connect with a lot of individuals to make life or to support life transitionings for these young adults and for youth in our community. And we will continue to maintain these partners by sharing our data with them as we collect and develop from this program as well. And then what we can do even moving forward after this first year. If we work with the youth offenders prison that's in Memorial Drive, that's in Racine, it's going back to that ward and saying, hey, this is the data we collected. This is the programming that we have done to share with the young men and young adults that are in that facility about sexual relationships, healthy sexual relationships, even being in the prison system. and bringing that information to them, but also sharing that information back to the warden so change can occur as well within that setting. And again, with the LGBTQ Center, we will also like to do programming around at that center, because we have experienced kids who have came to the group home who have identified themselves with the LGBTQ community. We've had transgenders and we've had bisexual youth that came into our group home as well. And again, it's all about them being comfortable. We need them to share and we need them to participate and be engaged. And so our settings will be chosen by those experiences in order to get them to be more engaging in the activities. Our goal is to reach 25 youth in each setting. Our goal is to also reach 200 youth within our first year. We would like to do a kickoff event to get the information out and to also assess and collect a baseline from an evaluation from the youth related to their knowledge around sexual education. What do they know about it? What is their experience with being exposed to sexual education in a positive way? So we would like to collect some data, but that would be our goal, is to serve in each setting 25 youth in each setting, and we would like to strive to reach 200 youth within that first year, 7 months to a year.
Question H. Please describe your plan to ensure non-duplication of efforts. Please include information about your community partners and how they might be engaged in this project or similar efforts.
Well, since we know there's very little effort in the city of Racine regarding sex education, I don't think there will be any duplication. I have talked to the public health department, who has given me some alarming numbers around STDs in the city of Racine, in Racine County alone, between the ages of 15 and 24. We currently are serving 1,665 youth between the ages of 15 and 24 with an STD. They're starting to see a rise in number when it comes to herpes and HIV. So they're not, because of their limitations around staffing, they're not able to go in and do some sexual education in the high schools or in any other community organization because of their limited around public health nurses. So with that being said, we will be partnering with Frazier LLC, who used to be a public health nurse. The nurse has 10 years experience in public health, recently just moved and started working with Extension Healthcare Services. So their organization will provide a lot of the sexual education classes. We also will be partnering with Legacy Fitness around wellness. We understand that kids, part of healthy sexual education has to also do with the healthy you, about yourself, how to keep yourself healthy, and what does that health look like. So Legacy Fitness deals around nutrition and health, wellness, around the mindset, and around a healthy body. So we will be collaborating with them as well. And again, as I indicated before, one of our partners will be the LGBTQ Center of Southeastern Wisconsin, which is located here in Racine. We are fully aware that some of our youth, and we will serve boys and girls, our young ladies and young men in this program. It's not just limited to boys, because that's who the group home serves. But we realize that within working with young people, we have seen an increase, especially in juvenile justice system and the foster care system, around LGBTQ youth, and they're identifying themselves, their pronouns. So we definitely want to have a partnership with the LGBTQ Center, which we have already talked to them about, and they are willing to also offer their space and some of their staff to come in and provide some education as well with youth around sexual education and around risky behaviors. So now the curriculum that we want to work on, or I should say the curriculum that we are working on, is a structured curriculum that will empower youth to do the following. One, to consider outside influences that impact their sexual health, such as social media, family, and peers. So as we work with these partners, this is what we want to bring to the table to every program, every group that we meet with, is what's influencing their thoughts around sex and how they're being taught around healthy sexual relationships and where they're getting this educational piece. So is it something that was influenced or that made their impact that comes from social media, families, or peers? Secondly, we want to teach them how to make education decisions about their sexual health. Third, how they interact with peers, counselors, and family members about issues affecting their sexual health. We want to make sure we bring in a connection with part of this curriculum, and also bringing in different partners so that we can teach them how to interact, who to go to and talk about this. How do I get this information? What resources are in the community? But we got to connect them to some services and understanding who are some trusting adults in our community that they can go to. And we also want them to be able to utilize reliable and factual sexual health information. The reason why we want to take on this and implement this in the city of Racine and in Racine County is so that young people and young adults can get factual information around STDs. It's very interesting from running a group home how many of my boys that I have experienced with an STD. Even though we have condoms, they have a different understanding about using condoms, but where did that understanding come from? Where did they get that education? That even though it might not be the right kind of education around this, but the factual education is protecting yourselves from STDs. And where they're getting the information that you don't need to use condoms. So we want to come in with more factual information, utilizing partners, our partners that I mentioned, and also utilizing a curriculum that we have started developing to bring in this information and share with the youth. And lastly, we want them to learn how to be responsible in their choices and influence others to improve their sexual health and wellness. So by working with youth, we're hoping that they take this information out and share it with someone else. That even includes their partners. You know, with girls and with boys, being able to make sure to say, hey, do you know that if we don't use a condom that this can happen? I got to protect myself. Understanding the importance of wellness for themselves. And when it comes down to our collaboration with our partners, we also want to make sure for anyone who comes in as a partner, such as when we work with the prison or detention center, we want to also educate them too and make sure staff is trained to make an environment that is safe and supportive to discuss about sexual health. We're not clear when kids are in the juvenile justice system where their sex education is coming from. Who's teaching them? Who's providing that among staff? Even within group homes, where are they getting this information? I know from being an experienced social worker or a seasoned social worker, we tend to stay away from the sex education information. We tend to act like, well, you know what, we really can't say anything because if we do, it's a boundary issue or am I crossing the line? So part of this is also educating other adults on how to have these conversations as part of our collaboration with our partners, not just the ones I mentioned, but even partners that are in the community as we go out and say, hey, we want to work with your youth, and providing some of this information to their staff as well. And secondly, we want to be able to connect under this collaboration with our partners, connect the youth to health services that they need in a timely manner to address STDs or to get STDs testing and treatment. You know, one of our partners probably will be Ascension, as we work with some of the pediatric doctors now when we take some of our boys in who has STDs and working with Ascension and what information should be shared to kids who are coming from the juvenile justice system. When they're serving them medically, what information are you giving? And under this partnership and how we would like to educate even our partners, thirdly, we would like to improve overall sexual health education, such as age appropriateness, getting medical information, and also understanding culture. These kids come in with different cultures based off of their experience within their families. Some of them don't have any family guidance. And what I mean by that, I can give an example. We've had two youth who have parents who have passed away. So they've been in the system. So who's giving them this information? And that system is preparing them and giving them a culture of what they're learning. So making sure that partners are also educated in that way to make sure that we are reaching and changing the behaviors when it comes to our youth and young adults.
Question I. Please describe how you will ensure that your program will create an affirming and inclusive space for all youth. Include examples of how your agency has created affirming spaces for youth in the past, or plans for how you will do this within this program.
Well, we are committed to helping to provide a welcoming, safe, and supportive educational environment for all youth and young adults that attend our program. This includes youth and young adults who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, the LGBTQI plus community as well, and parents and family members. So over the past 2 years, being a group home owner, again, we have had individuals or youth that have came into our program that fall within the LGBTQ, but also within just different cultures all together. Latino, African American, Indian. We've had two youth who came from reservations. And the importance of being exclusive is making sure my staff is trained. And how do we make it welcoming? How do we make it safe? Because people have to be trained around that to understand difference. We all have culture backgrounds and we all have belief systems and we all have biases. So even addressing that head on with my staff, first of all in the group home, to understand their biases, but also to understand how their biases can interfere with treatment when kids come into the program, and teaching them how to interrupt their biases. So even in this program, we will continue to do that. We will continue to work with our partners, work with community leaders, individuals who have identified that they want to be a part of this. We will go right back into that, interrupting their biases to understand that we have to be exclusive. We want youth and young adults to feel comfortable. We want them to feel safe so that they can open up and talk when we have our programming with them, that they feel comfortable to doing that and feel comfortable and safe in sharing. So that's how we have handled in the past. That's what we will continue to do. We will set rules every time we do a programming with any of our young people, we will set rules. And in those group rules, we will identify the importance of opinions, but not being name calling, setting some of those things. Just because someone's different from you or believe different, we won't allow certain behaviors in our groups in order for people to feel welcoming and to feel safe. And again, we will open this up to anyone, any youth that within this age group, this 10 to 24, we will open this up for them to come and be a part of it. And we will address those unconscious biases with staff and partners as well, to understand that all of our young people need this information. In order for them to be healthy, in order for them to understand their wellness, in order for them to understand themselves, they all need this information around sexual education. What does that look like for them? Especially in the juvenile justice system. So this project will highlight the challenges faced by LGBTQ youth in the juvenile justice system as well. We will offer insights on how to thrive and to enhance an awareness among healthcare staff, because our goal is to work with healthcare staff. And it's interesting because when I had a transgender in the group home and taking him for his, and his pronoun was him and he, although he identified his pronouns as him and he, but he dressed like a female. And taking him to get his wellness check and the response of the doctor, even just educating on that and how uncomfortable he felt because the doctor was expecting this female, and for him to keep saying, no, I'm a male. So educating them, our healthcare partners, and educating them on that, and bringing awareness to them that youth in the juvenile justice system, they have the right for medical care, and they have the right to be respected when they go in for medical care. And educating additional youth serving professionals about disparities that come along with understanding this. And this could be the reason why we have such a limited around sex education, because there's so much disparity around healthcare. And then understanding when we deal with kids in the juvenile justice system, sometimes don't even like going to the doctor because they already believe the doctors are going to perceive them a certain way. So they don't ask questions around sex education. So we want to be able to teach our kids how to advocate, but we also want to make sure that our partners are having awareness to make sure that these youth and these young adults feel included when they come into for their services, but also mostly when they come into participating in our program, that they feel that they are safe when they come. So this ends our questions, and I do want to take this time to thank everyone who's on the interviewing panel for allowing this opportunity to be able to apply for this. This is a big deal for us because of the population that we do serve and what we have seen in our group home as well. If you have any questions, you may definitely reach out to me, but I do want to say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to the next steps in working with you. Have a good day.